Hello, my fellow brother and my fellow sister. Thank you for watching this video, and I would like you to listen very carefully. Don't just browse, because if you browse, you will not gain anything from it. But listen carefully. I would like to just give you a very clear explanation in support of what is called disintegration of the nation of South Sudan, instead of maintaining the nation as a whole, or have the nation be taken. Let us surrender it to the United Nations with the purpose of having United Nations reconstruct what is called system of governance for all. And let me explain to you the reasons. And that is where I want you to listen very carefully. You see, fellow brother and sister, I want you to know that before colonial time, there are so many environmental factors that have made us to live under what is called social groupings of what is called tribes, kingdoms, and this is just how the British found us. And when the British did the arrangement of putting us together and constituted South Sudan out of all those tribes and even formed those regions of the Upper Nile, the Bahr al-Ghazal, and the Equatoria, the British, understand very well how to maintain those diverse groups under a government, because they understand the module of holding together diverse nation under well-established structural institutions that can maintain the diverse group, while at the same time reorienting those social groups in order to become a little loose, but not tribally held intact. The British understand the module of organizing societies under that order. That is why when they were about to leave, they felt that they did not educate the South Sudanese well enough that they can be left on their own around the 1950s. Because they know that these people are not well educated enough to understand the module of holding society together, especially a diverse nation, through a module of establishing structures or institutions and at the same time injecting ideas to reorient them out of what is called their social groups that are called tribes. And they knew that if they gave South Sudan independence at the time, South Sudanese will disintegrate back to how they had been before they found us, or rather before they did put us to what is called the Southern Constituent. And this is one of the main reasons why the British decided to leave us intact with the North. But even through the time that we have lived with the North, we have even not learned enough about the module of organizing society putting an order through structured institutions. And that is why right now that we are independent as the South Sudanese nation, we are having a hard time putting together institutions that can govern. When you look at the general education of our people, they don't understand governance through institutions. The people feel comfortable rallying and supporting people they look at as strong leaders, and that makes it easy to form what is called kingdoms other than states. That is why when you look at how South Sudan is operating right now, it operates like a kingdom. It does not operate like a state, because states have institutions. The institutions are working through systems. The systems are developed by constitution. We have not gotten to that point. Education in South Sudan or amongst South Sudanese is still very, very low. And every time we insist that we want to be intact with each other and fallaciously think that we can create a nation that will be similar or that will operate similar, like how we see some other people successfully operating their nation, we are lying to ourselves. Fellow brothers and sisters, take this message seriously. We are still far away from that education. And that is why, as soon as South Sudan became independent, when you clearly observe what has been done, the military, or let me say, the sector of the military, instead of having well-established academical training for people who would eventually be trained, well-established to be armies, security, police, and whatnot, South Sudanese decided to rely on tribes. A group of people will be taken amongst this tribe because they are perceived as fighters, as warriors, and then given uniforms. Is that how you create your military sector? Without even understanding that this is very damaging, because these people eventually are very tribally minded, eventually are not going to serve the people as expected. Instead, they exploit the people. Some of the tribes have even become strong enough for what is called government not to be able to manage them. We are very, very far from the module of governance in which institutions will be well established to manage the society, to put order. For that reason, we will be wasting time thinking that we will form a nation that will look similar to the ones that you see around. It is best to see into it that those who get along, like you fellow Equatorians, from the time you have been artificially created the way you are, you seem to be getting along. Those tribes seem to be getting along. Take that demographic, make it a separate nation. Manage the economical resources that you have, be it gold, be it diamond, be it whatnot. Manage it for the well-being of the people of Equatoria. Educate the children. Build good infrastructure so that you live well. In the territory of the Upper Nile, look at yourselves in your faces and start talking to each other. How will you manage yourselves if you are a separate nation? You have resources. You have oil. You can manage yourself. Let the people of Bahr al-Ghazal sit and look at themselves in their eyes and say, hey, can we manage ourselves? We have these resources. Instead of forcing ourselves to be intact, and yet there is even no proper explanation as to the benefits of this deal of remaining intact. Practically, elites are benefiting from the resources, be it coming from Upper Nile, be it coming from Bahr al-Ghazal, tomorrow, next tomorrow from Equatoria. Elites are benefiting from the resources. Even you Equatorians, are you not feeling jealous? Tomorrow, next tomorrow, if the gold, if the diamond that is in your territories are extracted and then elites are benefiting from it, and your children are not getting any education, are not getting any health care, are you not feeling even jealous? No proper infrastructure. And for those who still want to say, let us remain together, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? Look, brothers and sisters, let us not force things that are not working. And let this message be shared with even the other tribes that remaining intact is not working, and it will not work given the direction we are going right now. If we really want to stay together and honor what the British artificially did, that is the constitution of what is called the Southern Constituent, which ended up becoming right now the South Sudan. If we just want to honor that as though God has given it to us, then okay, let us begin by then surrendering that to the United Nations so that the United Nations then build those necessary institutions. When they build those institutions, then there will be some training programs for people to be able to manage those institutions. There will be well-established schools so that even those who are young, who are growing, and the unborn ones will eventually get into those schools, be trained to serve in those institutions, and at the same time serving the nation. These are the only options we have. These are the only options we have. Other than these two options, brothers and sisters, we are wasted, because only very few powerful elites will take all the resources of the country, spend it on their relatives, spend it on their loved ones, when everybody will continue crying, and our descendants will come and pick up our habits coming out on Facebook, crying foul all the time. Hey, wake up. We must disintegrate along demographics of people who understand each other. The good news is the country is full of resources. we will form our own economic basis and live happily thereafter. Thank you very much. This is a message from the Equatoria Advocacy Foundation, Sabata, Director, Resource Mobilization. Stay blessed, and we'll interact again some other time on another topic.